a couple teams that I won't allow him to play for.
Whoa.
This is my profession. I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it. Ain't
and
no
if he doesn't
world.
listen to you?
Who? No, you must mean owners, like not my son.
Have you told him privately who you would like for him to play for?
It's not like who I would like for him to play.
What if I told you that Shedeur Sanders has been secretly recording his own father's private phone calls? And what if I told you that what he discovered in one of those recordings could completely destroy Deion Sanders' legacy forever? The audio I'm about to reveal has never been heard publicly before, and trust me, after you hear what Deion really thinks about his son's NFL future, you'll understand why this could end both of their careers. I'm your host, bringing you the most explosive NFL drama, and today's story is so shocking that even I had trouble believing it at first. For months, we've been watching the fairy tale story of Deion coach Prime Sanders and his son. Shedeur is taking the football world by storm. The perfect father-son duo, right? The supportive dad coaching his talented quarterback son to NFL stardom. But what if everything we've been told is a complete lie? What I'm about to share with you comes from multiple sources close to the Sanders family, and it involves secret recordings, family betrayal, and revelations that could destroy one of the most powerful brands in sports. We're talking about private conversations that were never meant to see the light of day. Conversations that reveal Deion's true feelings about his son's abilities and his real plans for Shedeur's future. By the end of this video, you'll understand why insiders are saying this could be the biggest scandal to hit the NFL since, well, ever. And make sure you stick around until the end, because I'll be playing the actual audio that has everyone in the Sanders camp absolutely terrified. But first, let me tell you how Shedeur even got access to these private conversations, because the method he used is absolutely diabolical. According to my sources, this all started back in November when Shedeur began suspecting that his father wasn't being completely honest with him about NFL draft discussions. You see, while Deion was publicly supporting Shedeur and talking about his bright NFL future, Shedeur was noticing some inconsistencies in his father's behavior. Here's where it gets interesting. Shedeur apparently set up a recording app on his phone and began leaving it in strategic locations during his father's private phone calls. We're talking about calls with NFL executives, agents, and other coaches. The kid was basically running his own surveillance operation on his own father. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would a son do this to his father? But here's the thing. Shedeur had been hearing whispers from teammates and other players that Deion was saying different things in private than what he was saying publicly. The pressure was getting to him, and he needed to know the truth. The first recording that really opened Shedeur's eyes happened during a call between Deion and an unnamed NFL general manager. In this conversation, which lasted over 30 minutes, Deion allegedly made some absolutely devastating comments about his son's NFL readiness. According to the transcript I've obtained, Deion told this GM, and I quote, "Look, I love my boy, but he's not ready for the NFL level. His arm strength is questionable, his decision-making under pressure needs work, and honestly, I think he needs at least 2 more years of development." Can you imagine hearing your own father say that about you to NFL decision-makers? But it gets worse. That first recording was just the beginning. What Shedeur discovered next would shake him to his core and potentially destroy everything the Sanders family has built. The second recording is where things get absolutely nuclear, and it involves a conversation that could end Deion's coaching career permanently. This recording took place in early December, just as bowl season was heating up and NFL draft discussions were intensifying. Shedeur had hidden his phone in Deion's home office during what he thought would be a routine call with his agent. Instead, what he captured was a conversation between Deion and a major sports betting executive. Yes, you heard that right, sports betting. In this recording, Deion allegedly discusses inside information about Colorado's game plans, player injuries that hadn't been made public, and even specific plays they were planning to run in upcoming games. But here's the kicker. This conversation happened just days before Colorado's bowl game, and there were clear discussions about point spreads and betting lines. My source, who has heard the full recording, tells me that Deion provided information that could have been used to influence betting outcomes. We're talking about potential NCAA violations, possible federal crimes, and the kind of scandal that could bring down an entire program. But wait, it gets even worse. During this same conversation, Deion allegedly told the betting executive that he was planning to manage Shedeur's performance in the bowl game to keep the score within certain parameters. He talked about calling specific plays that would limit Shedeur's ability to score, essentially sabotaging his own son's performance for betting purposes. Can you imagine the betrayal Shedeur must have felt hearing this? His own father, his coach, the man who's supposed to have his back, was potentially manipulating his performance for gambling purposes. Now, I haven't heard these recordings myself, but multiple sources have confirmed their existence. Shedeur apparently has over 6 hours of recorded conversations, and he's been working with a legal team to determine his next steps. The question everyone's asking is, what is Shedeur planning to do with this information? What happened next has torn the Sanders family apart and created a war that's playing out behind closed doors. According to my sources, Shedeur confronted his father about these recordings in late December. The confrontation allegedly took place at the family home and lasted several hours. Witnesses describe it as explosive and heartbreaking. Shedeur apparently played portions of the recordings for Deion, who initially denied their authenticity. But when faced with the clear evidence, Deion's response was reportedly to threaten his own son with legal action and to cut him off financially. This confrontation has created a massive rift in the Sanders family. Shedeur Sanders, Shedeur's brother, has reportedly taken sides, and it's not the side you'd expect. Sources tell me that Shedeur is actually supporting Shedeur and has provided additional evidence of their father's questionable dealings. The family is essentially at war with itself, and it's affecting everything from Colorado's football program to Shedeur's NFL draft prospects. Here's where things get really intense. Shedeur has apparently given his father an ultimatum: come clean publicly about the betting connections and the manipulation, or he'll release the recordings to the media and the NCAA. Deion's response? He's reportedly hired a team of lawyers and private investigators to discredit his own son and find ways to suppress the recordings. We're talking about a father and son who are now in an all-out legal and public relations war against each other. But the family drama is just the beginning. The implications of these recordings could destroy multiple careers and bring down an entire college football program. My sources tell me that the NCAA has already been quietly notified about these recordings. While they haven't launched a formal investigation yet, they're apparently taking the allegations very seriously. If these recordings prove that Deion provided inside information for betting purposes, we're looking at potential violations that could result in immediate termination from Colorado, a lifetime ban from college coaching, forfeiture of wins and bowl appearances, and massive fines and sanctions for the university. For Shedeur, this scandal couldn't come at a worse time. He's projected to be a high draft pick, but NFL teams are notoriously risk-averse when it comes to character concerns and family drama. Several NFL executives, speaking on condition of anonymity, have told me that they're already having discussions about whether to remove Shedeur from their draft boards entirely. The concern isn't just about his involvement in the recordings but about the ongoing family drama and what it says about his judgment and character. The sports betting industry is also taking this seriously. If Deion did provide inside information, it could trigger federal investigations and potentially criminal charges. We're talking about wire fraud, conspiracy, and violations of federal gambling laws. The recordings could also expose a much larger network of college coaches and officials who might be involved in similar schemes. So where does this leave us, and what can we expect to happen in the coming weeks? Right now, both sides are lawyered up and preparing for what could be a very public and very ugly legal battle. Deion's team is reportedly trying to get injunctions to prevent the release of the recordings, while Shedeur's team is preparing to go public with everything. The legal questions are complex. Did Shedeur have the right to record these conversations? Are the recordings admissible as evidence? Can Deion prevent their release? Both sides are also engaged in a media war. Deion's team has been reaching out to friendly journalists and trying to control the narrative. They're reportedly planning to paint Shedeur as a disloyal son who betrayed his father's trust. Shedeur's team, meanwhile, is preparing to position him as a whistleblower who discovered corruption and is trying to do the right thing. My sources tell me that we could see major developments within the next 2 weeks. Shedeur's legal team has apparently set a deadline for Deion to respond to their demands, and if he doesn't comply, they're prepared to go public with everything. The NFL draft is approaching, and Shedeur can't afford to let this drag on much longer if he wants to salvage his professional prospects. So let me recap what we know. Shedeur Sanders secretly recorded his father's private phone calls and discovered evidence of potential betting corruption, game manipulation, and personal betrayal. The family is now at war, with legal teams on both sides preparing for battle. The NCAA and NFL are watching closely, and the entire Sanders empire could come crashing down. This story has everything: family betrayal, potential criminal activity, and the destruction of one of sports' most powerful brands. It's the kind of scandal that could change college football forever and end multiple careers. The question now is, will Shedeur follow through on his threat to release these recordings? And if he does, will it destroy his father's legacy while potentially saving his own career? Or will this family war destroy both of them? I'll be following this story closely and will bring you updates as soon as they develop. This is just the beginning of what could be the biggest sports scandal of the decade. What do you think Shedeur should do? Should he release the recordings and expose his father, or should family loyalty come first? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one and respond to as many as I can. If you want to stay updated on this developing story, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. I'll be breaking news on this situation as it unfolds, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. And if you found this video shocking, wait until you see what I've uncovered about other college coaches and their connections to the betting industry. That video is coming next week, and it's going to blow your mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one where we dive even deeper into the corruption that's destroying college football from the inside out.